Without further ado, the magnanimous Chloé Zhao. I love your style.
Oh, thank you.
I am so happy to meet you. I can barely see straight. Oh, Douglas.
Hi. Oh my goodness. Hello.
Now, I wanted to show you something because it just hit me so hard. I think my idol in this world is definitely like my grandfather, John Barrymore. And I wanted to show you a picture. So that is him. He brought Hamlet very much into the zeitgeist in the theater back in the day. And I was so excited to meet you, and I was like, oh my God, I grew up appreciating his work in Hamlet.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
you open the film with a card that says Hamnet and Hamlet are one and the same. And forgive my paraphrasing if it's not word perfect, because I know it's not.
It's close.
But it helped me sort of sit back and relax immediately into knowing that the history I knew about Shakespeare, this character, that familiarity can come to this party with you.
Yeah.
Because when I read Hamnet, I thought, is this something different?
Right. Well, that's what happened to Maggie. I think she was still in school, Maggie O'Farrell, the author of the book. And her teacher said, you know, she had a son named Hamnet that died a few years before he wrote Hamlet. And Maggie go, oh, well, anyone? No? Like literally nobody then for the next decade made that connection. She looked everywhere, and he's usually a tiny little footnote in any kind of Shakespeare scholarship, you know, books and things like that. She still go, anybody? Anybody see the connection? And no. And I think for her, it became a huge passion to demystify geniuses in our, you know, in the idea that the genius of writing Hamlet didn't come from somewhere in the sky, that it came from a broken heart, that he was a man who deeply flawed, but passionate and lived and loved and grieved. And he only was able to survive that much, you know, to ask to be or not to be. This person must have gone to the edge, have suffered a lot. And we believe that he survived through the alchemy of storytelling, through writing a play like Hamlet to process the grief he felt for the loss of his child.
There's a moment in the film where I had the most incredible awakening when I realized that people process things differently.
That's a very personal one for me too.
How so?
Because how wonderfully different we are. And Agnes and Will are very different, and they have never been seen in their entire lives until they met each other. And they fell in love. But then when tragedy strikes, that difference that we fell in love with each other also can become this impossible barrier for us to understand how the other person behaves in moments like that.
Yes.
And so sometimes the only way to bring us back together is through poetry, because there's something mysterious about it. It's not factual. And that's why we reach for art and storytelling in moments like that to connect us.
I agree fully, and I think what your film also demonstrated to me was that if somehow we fight to witness how another person grieves and processes.
Exactly.
If we stay staunch in our lane and we do not seek what it is the other person is truly manifesting and going through, we will only live with our own perspective of how we grieve and therefore how others are supposed to grieve.
Yeah.
And I was in an institution when I was a kid. I was there for 2 years. My mom didn't know what to do with me. She created a monster. I felt really bad for her, but I got it. And so she put me in this very large institution.
Wow.
It was not a Malibu rehab center that you go into for 3 months. It was in North Valley, very deep. You misbehaved, you were put in a padded cell and put in stretcher restraints.
Oh my God.
And I experienced something there for 2 straight years, which was every Wednesday night, everyone would come together in the round. That's why this set is built this way.
Wow.
It's why the theater was usually built that way.
Yeah. It's a sacred shape. Yeah.
It's a sacred shape because there is no difference between what's on the stage and you. And the circle was formed every Wednesday night, and people would sit in the middle of the circle and they would confront their family.
Wow.
It was electric. It was the hardest thing I've ever witnessed and the greatest thing I've ever witnessed all at the same time, because you saw people face things that they didn't face and did everything to escape from it. Suicide, drugs, alcohol, you name it. I watched people valiantly say to someone, this is what I've been wanting and needing from you the whole time. And that person finally got to witness a truth that they weren't able to see
Very
before.
Shakespearean. It's like human theater.
It is. And people would cheer each other on, and people would laugh, and people would cry. And the moment that affected me the most in your movie is a laugh. That's when my tears rolled down my face, because I think laughter and crying are twins. I think they are.
So is grief and love. You know, so is pain and pleasure. That's the thing. If we numb ourselves because we're so afraid to feel the tension and the pain of grief, we also numb ourselves from the joy and the pleasure of love.
And you made a film that is so life-affirming that you almost help face death and how you will survive it in this world
There's
and
life
in this
after
life.
grief. Yeah. Thank you.
We'll be right back.